Hey everyone, welcome back to the Daily English Talk podcast. I'm Emma, and I'm so excited to have you with us today.
And I'm Jake. Thanks for tuning in, wherever you are, whether you're at home, commuting, or maybe even out for a walk.
So you're learning English. That's fantastic. But let's be real. Sometimes that initial spark, the excitement, it can kind of dim.
Oh, absolutely. Life gets busy, maybe progress feels slow, and suddenly you're thinking, is this even worth it? It sounds familiar, right?
Totally. We've definitely all been there. That moment where, your big plans just hit a wall.
Yeah. I remember when I decided I was going to basically conquer Spanish in 6 months. That was the plan.
Ow, ambitious.
Tell me about it. Textbooks piled high, language apps constantly buzzing. I felt unstoppable for about, maybe 3 weeks.
Okay, 3 weeks.
Then just boom, overwhelmed, big time.
3 weeks? You lasted longer than my big French dream. I had this, romantic idea of becoming totally fluent, picturing myself just chatting away effortlessly. The first couple of weeks, super diligent, practicing every day. Then, work got crazy.
Always does.
A few missed days turned into a week, and then suddenly I just felt like a complete failure. And that little thought creeps in, maybe I'm just not good at languages.
That feeling.
Oh.
Not being good at it. It's so common, and you're right, it just kills your motivation, doesn't it?
It really does.
We set these huge goals, all fueled by that initial buzz, and the second we stumble, we think, see, I knew I couldn't do it.
Exactly. But the thing is, setbacks are totally normal. They're actually part of learning.
That's the key. It's really not about, perfect performance all the time. It's about consistent effort. Sticking with it.
And that's really what we want to dig into today, isn't it? How do we keep that momentum going, even when things get tough or, just plain boring?
Yeah, how do we feed that inner drive, the thing that keeps us showing up, even when progress feels, tiny, like a whisper?
It's about understanding that motivation isn't this constant, high energy state.
Right. It's often quieter. Just
Yeah.
a little nudge. Maybe remembering why you started learning English in the first place.
Or picturing yourself finally understanding that tricky grammar point, or having that conversation you wanted to have.
For me, the big shift happened when I realized that even just 5 minutes of practice was better than 0 minutes.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't about hitting some perfect target every single day. It was just about staying connected to the language somehow.
And that's such a crucial point. So many learners just, they throw in the towel. Not because they can't do it, but because they mistake imperfect progress for actual failure.
Yeah, they think if they miss a lesson or can't dedicate an hour every day, then the whole thing's pointless.
But language learning is, it's a journey. It has its own rhythm. Some days you feel like you're flying.
And other days it's more like a slow crawl, and that's completely okay.
It really is. The key is keeping that bigger picture in mind, remembering that even those tiny steps forward are still, forward movement.
So today, we're not just talking theory. We want to give you practical, actual strategies, things you can really do.
Yeah, real-world examples of things you can weave into your English practice to, keep that fire lit.
Think of it like building your own personal toolkit of inspiration. So when motivation takes a dip, you've got ideas ready to go.
We'll sort of take turns sharing things that worked for us or things we've seen, help other learners keep going.
Ready to jump into those strategies?
Let's do it. Where should we start?
Okay, first up, a tip that honestly changed things for me: setting small, achievable goals.
Ah, yes. This is so fundamental. We often set these massive goals, right? Like fluency in 6 months or mastering all the verb tenses by next month.
Yeah, the huge ones.
And the ambition is great, but it can be just incredibly daunting. It's like trying to climb Mount Everest in one single jump. It's just not going to happen.
Exactly. And when you inevitably don't make it in one leap, it's so easy to feel discouraged. So instead, think about breaking it down. Tiny steps.
Really tiny. Like this week, maybe your goal is just learning, say, 3 new phrasal verbs.
Or maybe just watching one short YouTube video in English and understanding the main idea.
Yes. The great thing about these small goals is that immediate feeling of accomplishment you get. That little mental high five.
But hey, I actually did that feeling. It's surprisingly powerful, isn't it?
It really is. It reinforces that positive link with learning. Makes you want to do it again.
It's like building a staircase, maybe. One small step at a time. Each little win gets you higher.
And before you know it, you've actually climbed quite a way.
I remember when I was trying to get regular French listening practice in, I set a goal of just 5 minutes. 5 minutes a day.
That's super manageable.
Totally.
Yeah.
Some days I'd listen for way longer because I was actually enjoying it. But knowing the minimum was just 5 minutes, it made it feel so much less like a huge chore.
And SMART goals are flexible too. If life suddenly gets hectic, you can probably still hit that tiny goal. You don't feel like you've completely failed.
Right, progress is progress, even if it feels really small sometimes.
Absolutely. So if you're listening right now, maybe just take a second. Think about one small English goal you could set for yourself this week.
Something genuinely tiny, something that feels easy, maybe even makes you smile a bit thinking about achieving it.
And just know that every single one of those small steps is definitely moving you closer to where you want to be with your English.
Okay, so building on that idea of, noticing your progress, our next tip is about making that noticing feel good. Reward yourself.
Yes, this is a big one. We focus so much on the effort, the struggle sometimes, that we forget to actually celebrate the wins.
And learning a language is hard work. It deserves some recognition, some positive reinforcement.
Definitely. And these rewards, they don't need to be massive or expensive, right?
Not at all. It could be really simple, like enjoying your favorite cup of tea after you finish an English lesson.
Or allowing yourself, an extra episode of that English show you love once you've done your practice for the week. Guilt-free.
Exactly. What about you? Any go-to small rewards?
For me, honestly, often it's just a little treat. If I manage to review the vocabulary I planned for the day, maybe a square of dark chocolate.
Nice. Simple but effective?
It works. It just creates that little positive link in my brain. Study equals small pleasure.
I do something similar. If I hit a slightly bigger goal, like maybe finishing a chapter of a book I'm reading in the language, I might treat myself to a coffee out of my favorite cafe, maybe bring the book with me.
Oh, I like that. Marking the milestone. It's really about acknowledging the effort, isn't it?
Yeah. And the psychology behind it is pretty solid. You link the learning activity with something positive, your brain basically goes, okay, let's do that again.
It shifts it away from feeling like a chore, something you have to do, towards something that actually leads to enjoyment.
Because when learning feels good, motivation it kind of follows naturally. If it's all pressure and no pleasure, it's really tough to keep going long term.
So true. So for everyone listening, what small things would genuinely make you happy, what feels like a treat?
Maybe it's extra gaming time, a relaxing bath, a walk outside, whatever works for you.
Just use those little things to celebrate your progress, even the really small wins. Every step forward deserves a little bit of recognition.
Definitely. And speaking of making it more enjoyable, our next tip is all about actively finding the fun in your English practice.
Yes, this might be my favorite one. Because let's face it, if it's always boring, sticking with it is going to be a constant uphill battle.
Totally. You can't just rely on willpower forever if the process itself feels like pulling teeth.
Exactly. So think beyond the usual suspects, the textbooks, the grammar drills. How can you actually engage with English in ways that you genuinely enjoy?
Like if you love music, dive into English songs, look up the lyrics, try to figure out what they mean, sing along.
Oh yeah, singing along is great for pronunciation, even if you're slightly off key like me. And you pick up so much vocabulary and natural phrasing that way.
Or if you're more into TV shows or movies, make that your learning time. Start watching in English.
Use subtitles in your own language first if you need to. That's totally fine. Then maybe switch to English subtitles.
And eventually you can try watching without any subtitles at all. It's such a natural way to improve your listening skills.
And don't forget platforms like YouTube. Seriously, the amount of English content is just endless.
Whatever you're into, cooking, gaming, travel, comedy, makeup tutorials, tech reviews, there are creators making content in English about it.
Find people whose style you like, whose topics genuinely interest you.
That way you're not just studying, you're basically pursuing your hobby, but in English. You're absorbing real natural language in a context you care about.
Stops feeling like homework, right? It just feels like fun.
It reminds me a bit of how kids learn their first language, through play, through interaction, just being immersed in stuff they find interesting.
Exactly. So think about your own hobbies. What do you love doing? How could you bring English into that?
Are there podcasts in English about your passion? Online forums? Specific YouTube channels? Maybe follow some influencers in your area of interest who post in English.
When you deliberately mix learning with enjoyment, keeping that motivation up becomes so much easier. It's sustainable.
Okay, so moving on. Our next tip really focuses on the power of connection.
Yeah. Tip number 4. Find yourself a learning buddy or join a community.
This can make such a difference. Learning with someone else, or even just alongside others, adds a layer of accountability and shared experience.
Totally. It makes the whole thing feel less lonely, less isolating. It's like having a gym buddy, someone to encourage you to show up, even when you don't really feel like it.
Exactly that. And thankfully, the internet makes this easier than ever. There are tons of online communities for English learners all over the world.
Places where you can chat, share what you're learning, ask questions when you get stuck, and just generally find support from people who get it.
That accountability piece is pretty significant too. If you know someone's kind of expecting you to practice, or you've committed to meeting up online,
you're less likely to just skip it.
Right. And within a group, there's that great feeling of mutual encouragement. People celebrating each other's little wins, offering help when someone's struggling.
Plus, practicing with a buddy, especially if you could do some language exchange, it can be really fun.
You help them with your language, they help you with English, you both learn, and you might even make a new friend.
I found practicing speaking with a buddy was huge for me. It helped me get over that initial fear of making mistakes.
Oh yeah, how so?
Well, knowing we were both learners, both probably going to mess up occasionally, it just created this safer space. We could laugh about our errors instead of feeling embarrassed.
That makes sense. Takes the pressure off.
Exactly. And you learn from those mistakes together. So how do people find these buddies or communities?
Lots of ways. There are dedicated language learning apps and websites with community features, social media groups, Facebook, Reddit, places like that.
You might even find local language exchange meetups in your area if you prefer meeting people face-to-face.
And sometimes even just lurking in a community, reading posts, seeing other people making progress, that alone can give you a motivational boost.
It reminds you, you're not the only one on this path.
Definitely. So if you've been feeling a bit like you're doing this all on your own, maybe try reaching out. Look for a partner or a group.
It really can make staying motivated easier and, honestly, just make the whole process more enjoyable.
Okay, and that brings us to our final tip. Last but definitely not least, work on cultivating a positive mindset.
Ah, yes. This is so crucial. It's kind of the foundation for everything else, isn't it?
I think so. Because learning a language, it's rarely just a smooth, straight line upwards. It's more like a roller coaster sometimes.
Totally. There will be plateaus where you feel stuck. There will be moments of real frustration. Times you might even feel like you're going backwards.
It's so easy to get discouraged then. But the key thing to remember is that these bumps in the road are normal. They're part of the process.
They're not a sign that you're failing or that you're bad at English. Mistakes are they're opportunities, really. Chances to learn and get stronger.
I used to get so frustrated, especially with listening. I couldn't understand native speakers talking at normal speed, or I'd struggle to find the right words to express myself.
I know that feeling.
But eventually, I realized those exact moments of struggle, that's actually when the learning happens. Your brain is working hard to figure it out.
It's about changing that internal voice, isn't it? Shifting from, "Ook, I'm terrible at this," to something more like, "Okay, this is tricky, but I'm improving, I'm learning."
Or even just, I'm getting better day by day, even if I don't always feel it right now.
And those plateaus we mentioned, where you feel like you're not making any progress. Often that doesn't mean you're stuck forever.
Right. It usually means you're kind of consolidating everything you've learned so far, getting ready for the next jump forward.
It's a tough phase, for sure. But it's often where some really deep learning is happening, even if it's not obvious on the surface.
And again, like we said with the rewards tip, celebrating those small victories is so important for staying positive.
Every little win counts. Acknowledging that new phrase you understood, or that lesson you completed, or that time you spoke up a bit more confidently.
It all builds up. It reinforces the idea that you are making progress.
And remember, you're not alone in this. Think about all the other people around the world learning English, facing similar challenges. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in.
Yeah, self-compassion is key. And when you do feel those moments of doubt creeping in, try to reconnect with why you started.
What were your original reasons for learning English? Visualize those goals again.
Maybe it's having conversations with people, enjoying movies without subtitles, traveling more easily. Whatever it is for you, keep that vision in mind.
Having a positive mindset isn't about pretending that difficulties don't exist. It's more about believing you can handle them.
Believing that the challenges are just part of the journey and that overcoming them will make you stronger in the end.
Exactly. So, to everyone listening right now, wherever you are in your journey, just keep going.
Embrace the ups and downs, celebrate those small wins, and trust that you can do this. You really are doing amazing, one step at a time.
Absolutely. We're rooting for you.
Okay, so just to quickly recap our main strategies for staying motivated while you learn English.
We talked about setting those small, achievable goals. Makes it less overwhelming.
Rewarding your progress, celebrating the wins, big or small.
Actively mixing fun into your practice. Find ways to enjoy the process.
Finding a learning buddy or a community for support and accountability.
And finally, nurturing that positive mindset, believing in yourself even when it gets tough.
And remember that inner drive, that motivation, that's really the engine that keeps you moving forward consistently.
Yeah, those small steps, keeping things positive, making it enjoyable. It all adds up powerfully over time.
So celebrate your achievements, every single one.
We really believe you can reach your English goals. Just stay consistent, stay positive, and keep at it.
If you found these ideas useful today, please do subscribe so you don't miss our future conversations and tips for your English learning.
And hey, if you know someone else who's learning English and might find this helpful, maybe share it with them. We'd appreciate that.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate you dedicating your time to learning and improving your English.
That's all from us for now. We'll be back soon with more to explore together.
Until then, keep practicing, stay motivated, and keep using your English. We'll talk to you again soon.
Bye for now, and happy learning.